Papa's Pizzaria on the Rack Games version. When it comes to Flash games, nothing more popular comes to mind than Papa Louie and its series of gamerias. Even when Flash support had ended and was removed from most browsers, Papa's legacy continues to hold up today, with Flipline Studios still making games for the series on mobile devices. Although with most popular online games, there were bootleg, unblocked websites that would host them, mostly without the permission of their creators. The only reason they became popular was because, as the name suggests, they were not blocked by schools, which meant that students could play the games hosted to help them pass the time or to distract themselves from lessons. Related to the topic, I had an odd experience with one of them involving a strange bootleg version of Papa's Pizzaria. Although it had been years since I played it at that point, 2015 to be exact, I remember notable parts of it stuck with me ever since. I decided to share them here just in case I inevitably forget. If I recalled correctly, the version was on a website called On the Rack Games, which advertised itself as a website that hosted the best Flash games you'll ever play, and its claim was quite bizarre, as most of them were poorly made ones from Newgrounds. I had stumbled across this site during lunch break at high school when I was looking for something to do, since I had finished all my homework and I didn't really have any friends to hang out with at the time. After looking through some of the generic and lame titles that I didn't really care about, I finally spotted a well-made game to play, which was Papa's Pizzaria, of course. Upon starting up the game, I noticed that the intro version was not the same, as it was very roughly animated and two things were off about it. For starters, Roy was wearing different clothing consisting of a pale blue shirt, light gray trousers and hat, and near dark shoes, compared to his red and blue clothing that he normally would wear. Secondly, instead of driving a delivery car, Roy was on a school bus, and it stopped in the back entrance of Papa's Pizzaria before he got out. The rest of the cutscene played as you would expect, with Roy calling out for Papa Louie only to find out that he was away and that he needed to run the pizzeria. The rest of the game, for the most part, was basically the same, taking customers' orders, making and cooking the pizza, and cutting it before serving to them, as they would give you tips on how well you had done. Although the intro had bugged me out, I initially didn't really think much about it, but it was obviously not the focus of the series. After spending about 10 minutes of playing, I started to get bored and wanted to try out making a new profile under the name Almost Papa, which allowed Papa Louie to be unlocked as a customer very quickly by starting on day 99, and most of the customers earning gold customer rewards, since I had never reached that part of the game and wanted to find out what the order would be like. Upon playing with the new profile for a little while, I unlocked Papa Louie, much to my excitement, and I was prepared to take his order, which ended up being complicated just like in the real version of the game. When I had finally finished with his pizza, Papa Louie was very pissed off, as all the scores from each station was a staggering 0%, much to my disappointment. I refreshed the game and tried again, as I thought I had overcooked the pizza without realizing it. Nope. Papa was still annoyed, and I got a 0% on everything, despite my best efforts to please him. I refreshed the game multiple times, trying to get at least a little bit of a better score. Nothing changed. Papa would not be pleased in any way. Thinking it was just a bug in this version from On the Rack, I decided to continue playing and let off some steam. However, when I had finished the day in the game, I did not expect the following to happen. After the last customer was served, instead of going to the today's results section, the game began to play a cutscene which had the same quality as the one in the intro. Roy was preparing to leave the pizzeria when he heard a loud bang coming from the entrance. He was shocked by this and demanded to know who it was, as he grabbed a pizza paddle to defend himself, only to become cold by what he saw. It was Papa Louie, and he looked furious. Roy apologized to Papa and tried to explain himself, only to find the chef ranting about how he had done a bad job looking after the restaurant and how he now is a failure in the industry. As the chef continued to yell, Roy visibly became more stressed, and his expressions kept changing with each scene between him and Papa. This continued on for nearly a minute until it happened. Roy, out of pure stress and frustration, slapped Papa real hard with the pizza paddle that he had in his hand. Upon being hit, Papa landed on the cold floor unconscious. Roy took some deep breaths before becoming horrified with what he had done. As he stared at the unmoving chef, Roy began to fear the possibilities of being thrown in jail for what he had done, and had to think of a plan real fast. Then for some reason it began to play a recording of someone spilling gasoline all over the floor, with some sobbing coming from the person that was doing it. My best guess was that it was supposed to be connected with the cutscene prior, but if so, then why not make it animated so it wouldn't feel out of place? Once that recording was over, it faded to a poorly made "thanks for playing" screen, consisting of Roy standing behind a burning building, most likely the same one that was seen in the video. That was the only screenshot I took of the bootleg version, as I thought it was hilariously badass without the context of the ending. If I took a screenshot of it, then why don't I have the SWF file used on the website? Lunchtime was nearly over when I took it, and I had planned on downloading the file after I finished school. However, when I got home, my heart dropped as I found out that trying to go onto the On the Rack's website would just lead me to a 404 error. I tried going onto the website a few days after that, thinking that On the Rack was doing some maintenance on their server, but to no avail. To this day, I have very little clue as to who made the bootleg version of Papa's Pizzeria, why these changes were made, or what was the point of the ending cutscene. If you have any information regarding this, do let me know.